A billionaire executive was walking through his office building long after midnight when he noticed something most people never would. A janitor, sitting alone on the cold tile floor, crying quietly into her hands. She wasn't loud. She wasn't dramatic. She wasn't asking for help. And that's exactly why almost everyone before him had walked right past. But as he reached the elevator, he overheard something that made him stop in his tracks. Words so heavy, so raw, they shattered the invisible wall between privilege and survival. What this billionaire chose to do next didn't just change her life. It changed the way an entire building, an entire company, would see the people they'd spent years ignoring. Stay with me, because this story proves that sometimes the most powerful acts of kindness happen when no one is watching. Daniel Harper was used to silence. Not the peaceful kind, but the heavy, hollow kind that followed success when everyone else had gone home. At 46 years old, Daniel was the CEO and majority owner of Harper Dynamics, a multinational logistics and technology firm valued in the billions. His days were a blur of meetings, acquisitions, shareholder calls, and impossible deadlines. His nights were spent in a glass-walled penthouse overlooking the city, spotless, modern, and completely empty. No laughter, no clutter, no warmth. He told himself this was the cost of ambition. Every morning began the same way. Black coffee, tailored suit, driver waiting downstairs. He moved through life with precision, efficiency, and emotional distance. People admired him, feared him, rarely knew him. What they didn't know was that Daniel hadn't always lived like this. There was a time, long before the money, when his mother worked 2 jobs, cleaning offices at night while he slept on a couch in the back of a laundromat. She never complained, never cried where he could see her. And somehow, he'd forgotten that. Rosa Martinez lived a life no one noticed. She arrived at the building after 6 p.m., long after executives had shut down their computers and gone home to families and dinners and warm lights. She cleaned what others left behind: coffee rings, fingerprints, discarded papers, erasing every trace of people who never learned her name. Rosa was 32, a widow, a mother of 2, and exhausted in ways sleep could never fix. Her husband had died suddenly 3 years earlier, a workplace accident that paid condolences but not a future. Since then, Rosa worked 2 janitorial jobs, rotating night shifts while her children slept at a neighbor's apartment. Every dollar mattered. Every missed shift hurt. Every smile she gave her kids cost more energy than she had left. She didn't dream anymore. Dreams were expensive. That night, something finally cracked. It was nearly 1 a.m. The building was quiet, the kind of quiet that hums. Daniel was staying late, reviewing contracts in his office, unaware of the woman scrubbing floors 2 levels below him. When he finally shut down his laptop, he loosened his tie and stepped into the hallway. That's when he saw her. Rosa was sitting against the wall near the supply closet, mop beside her, head bowed. Her shoulders shook as she whispered into her phone. "I don't know how to fix this anymore," she said softly. "I promised them I would, but I don't have enough. I can't tell them again." Daniel slowed. He hadn't meant to listen, but he did. "Please don't worry," she added quickly, her voice breaking. "Mama will figure something out." The call ended. Silence returned, and Daniel stood frozen, because suddenly, the building didn't feel like his anymore. It felt like a memory. Daniel's first instinct was to keep walking. He wasn't her employer. He wasn't HR. He wasn't responsible. That's what success had taught him. But another voice, quieter, older, whispered something else. He remembered his mother counting change at the kitchen table. Remembered her tired smile. Remembered pretending not to hear her cry at night. Rosa wiped her face quickly, unaware she was being watched. Daniel had a choice. Walk away like everyone else had, or stop and truly see someone invisible. He turned around. Before we continue with this incredible journey, I want to pause for just a moment. I spent countless hours crafting this story to bring you something meaningful, something that reminds us kindness still exists in unexpected places. If stories like this move your heart, restore your faith in humanity, and remind you that small actions can change lives, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. It truly helps these stories reach people who need to hear them. Now, Let's see what happens when two very different lives finally intersect. Have you ever witnessed an act of kindness that completely changed your perspective? Share your story in the comments below. You never know who might need to read it today. Daniel Harper didn't speak right away. He stood a few steps behind Rosa, unsure how to enter a moment that clearly wasn't meant for him. The hallway lights hummed overhead, casting long shadows across the polished floor she had just finished cleaning. Rosa sensed movement before she heard footsteps. She quickly wiped her face with the sleeve of her uniform and pushed herself up from the floor, embarrassed. I'm sorry, she said instinctively, turning around. I'll be out of the way in just a second. Daniel raised a hand gently, not commanding, not dismissive. No, he said quietly. You're not in the way. She froze. No one had ever said that to her before. Rosa avoided eye contact, her hands gripping the handle of her mop like a shield. Years of being overlooked had trained her not to expect kindness, and certainly not from a man wearing a suit that probably cost more than her monthly rent. Daniel noticed the way she stood, tense, guarded, ready to apologize for existing. He softened his voice. Are you okay? The question was simple, but it broke something open. Rosa hesitated. Her instinct was to say yes. Always yes. Yes, I'm fine. Yes, everything's okay. Yes, I can handle it. But exhaustion has a way of stripping away lies. She swallowed hard. I will be, she said finally. Daniel nodded, respecting the boundary, but not stepping away. That didn't sound like a yes, he replied gently. Rosa let out a shaky breath. I didn't mean for anyone to see me like this, she admitted. I usually wait until I get home. Daniel didn't interrupt. He didn't rush her. He waited. That alone surprised her. My kids, she continued, her voice low. They're good kids. They don't ask for much. But sometimes, she paused, staring at the floor. Sometimes I don't know how to tell them that trying my best still isn't enough. Daniel felt the weight of her words settle in his chest. She wasn't asking for help. She wasn't begging. She was explaining her reality, with dignity intact. Daniel had spent his life around people who wanted something from him. Investors, lawyers, executives. Everyone had an angle, but Rosa had none. She didn't know who he was. She didn't know what he could offer. And she certainly wasn't trying to impress him. That honesty unsettled him more than desperation ever could. What do you do here? Daniel asked. I clean, Rosa replied simply. Nights. Sometimes mornings too, if someone calls in sick. Daniel glanced around, at the spotless floor, the empty trash bins, the gleaming windows. You do it well, he said. Rosa smiled faintly. Thank you. I try to leave places better than I find them. The words lingered between them. Leave places better than I find them. Daniel repeated the phrase silently. When was the last time he had done that? For a person? Daniel checked his watch. It was late. Too late. Have you eaten? He asked. Rosa blinked, surprised by the question. Not yet. I usually wait until my shift's over. Daniel nodded. There's a cafe downstairs, he said. It's still open. Would you let me buy you a meal? Rosa's first reaction was panic. Oh no, she said quickly. I couldn't. Thank you, but I don't want to cause any trouble. Daniel smiled, not the corporate smile he used in meetings, but something quieter. It wouldn't be trouble, he said. It would be company. She hesitated, then nodded. The cafe was nearly empty, just the hum of refrigerators and a tired cashier behind the counter. Rosa chose the cheapest item on the menu. Daniel noticed, but didn't comment. They sat in silence at first. Not awkward, just unfamiliar. Finally, Rosa spoke. My husband used to say people don't see janitors, she said. They see clean floors, not the hands that clean them. Daniel felt that sentence land like a confession. I see you, he replied. And for the first time that night, Rosa believed it. They talked. Not about money, not about titles, about life. Rosa spoke about her children, Sophia and Matteo, and how Sophia wanted to be a teacher, how Matteo slept with his shoes on in case he had to go to work early like Mama. Daniel laughed softly, then stopped when he realized how sad that was. He spoke about his childhood, about his mother, about forgetting where he came from. I built everything, he admitted. But somewhere along the way, I stopped building people. Rosa listened, really listened. And something shifted. Not charity. Connection. What would you do if you discovered someone with incredible strength and dignity living under such difficult circumstances? Would you step in or walk away? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. After that night in the cafe, Daniel Harper couldn't shake the feeling that something unfinished lingered between him and Rosa Martinez. Not obligation, not guilt, purpose. Over the next few weeks, their paths crossed more often, not by accident, but not announced either. Daniel began staying late more frequently, not because the work demanded it, but because the building felt different at night now. Quieter, more honest. Rosa noticed. She noticed how he greeted her by name, how he asked about her kids, and remembered their names too, how he never spoke down to her, never rushed her, never made her feel small. And slowly, she began to open up. She talked about how Sophia struggled with school because she was always tired, how Mateo asked why other kids had birthdays at restaurants while theirs were celebrated at home with candles stuck into cupcakes. Daniel listened. Every time. And with each conversation, something inside him softened, then sharpened. Because listening made one thing painfully clear. Rosa wasn't failing her children. The system was failing her. One evening, Daniel surprised Rosa. "I'd like to meet your kids," he said gently. "If that's okay." Rosa stiffened. Her world had rules. Her children were not part of her work life, and certainly not part of conversations with powerful men. "I don't want them to feel uncomfortable," she said carefully. Daniel nodded. "I understand. But if you ever change your mind, I'd be honored." A week later, Rosa invited him, not to impress him, but because Sophia insisted. "Mom," she whispered, "he sounds kind." Daniel arrived with no suit, no driver, no expectations, just groceries. He sat at their small kitchen table, listening to Mateo excitedly explain how vacuum cleaners worked. Sophia shyly showed him her notebooks filled with careful handwriting and hopeful doodles. That night, Daniel didn't sleep in his penthouse. He went home and sat alone in the dark and cried. Not everyone approved. Whispers began circulating in the building. Executives noticed Daniel spending time with cleaning staff. HR raised questions. A board member joked, "Be careful, people might get ideas." Rosa noticed the shift too. Supervisors watched her more closely. Co-workers grew distant. Some warned her in hushed tones. "People don't like it when lines blur," one colleague said, "especially when power's involved." The doubt crept in. Rosa began pulling back. She declined invitations, ended conversations early, went back to being invisible. Daniel felt it immediately. "Did I do something wrong?" he asked one night. Rosa looked at him, really looked at him. "I can't afford hope," she said quietly. "And I can't afford to lose my job." That sentence hurt more than any boardroom battle ever had. Because it was true. Daniel faced a crossroads. Continuing meant scrutiny, means resistance, means risking reputation. Walking away meant safety, means comfort, means silence. That night, he reviewed company policies, read reports on staff turnover, noticed something staggering. The cleaning staff had the highest attrition rate and the lowest wages. They were replaceable, invisible, and essential. Daniel closed his laptop. This wasn't about Rosa anymore. It was about doing the right thing, publicly, permanently, and without apology. Meanwhile, Rosa lay awake beside her sleeping children, replaying every conversation. What if this was temporary? What if kindness came with a cost? What if hope betrayed her again? She'd survived by expecting nothing. Trust was dangerous, but so was staying stuck. She whispered into the darkness, "I just want a chance." The tension built quietly. Daniel prepared something big, without telling Rosa. Rosa prepared herself for disappointment, without telling Daniel. Both knew something had to change, and soon, because kindness, once awakened, refuses to stay small. Have you ever had to overcome fear or resistance to help someone you cared about? What obstacles stood in your way, and how did you face them? Share your experience in the comments below. The boardroom was silent. Daniel Harper stood at the head of the table, not with charts or forecasts, but with a single photo. A night shift cleaner pushing a cart through an empty hallway. "This," he said, "is the backbone of this company." Some executives shifted uncomfortably. Daniel continued, "For years, we've talked about innovation, efficiency, growth, but we've ignored the people who make all of that possible." A board member scoffed. "You're talking about janitors." Daniel didn't flinch. "I'm talking about human beings." He laid out the plan. Living wages for all contracted cleaning staff, full healthcare coverage, paid education opportunities, flexible schedules for parents, emergency assistance funds. Silence again, then resistance. "This will cost millions. It sets a precedent. Shareholders won't like it." Daniel nodded. "Then let them ask me why profits mattered more than people." The vote passed. Barely, but it passed. Rosa was called into human resources again. Her hands trembled as she waited. This time, Daniel wasn't there. Instead, a folder sat on the table. Inside it, a full-time operations role, daytime hours, benefits, paid training, a scholarship fund earmarked for her children. Rosa stared at the pages. This isn't a mistake," she whispered. The HR manager smiled. "No, it's a beginning." Rosa cried, openly, freely, not from exhaustion, but from relief. The changes rippled fast. Rosa no longer rushed from shift to shift. She ate dinner with her children, helped Sophia with homework, listened as Matteo read aloud, proudly, confidently. At work, Rosa thrived. Her attention to detail became leadership. Her empathy became management. Her experience became insight. Others followed her lead. Night shift workers enrolled in classes. Parents adjusted schedules. Turnover dropped. Morale soared. And Daniel? He stopped measuring success solely by numbers. He started measuring it by names. 6 months later, the company hosted an internal event. Daniel stood on stage. "This award," he said, "goes to someone who reminded us what leadership really looks like." Rosa's name was called. She froze. The room erupted in applause. As she walked to the stage, Daniel stepped aside. This wasn't his moment. It was hers. She spoke quietly, but every word landed. "I used to clean these halls when no one was watching," she said. "Now I stand here because someone chose to see me." The room stood. Months later, Rosa noticed a new janitor crying in the hallway. She didn't walk past. She sat down, listened, and helped. Daniel watched from a distance, not interfering, just smiling. Because the greatest acts of kindness don't end with one life changed. They create many. This story shows how one act of kindness can change everything. What's one small action you could take today to make someone feel seen? Share your commitment in the comments and inspire someone else to act. 2 years passed. The building no longer felt cold at night. Not because the lights were brighter, but because the people were. Rosa Martinez no longer pushed a cleaning cart. She managed an entire operations team across 3 buildings. Her desk sat near a window now. Sunlight touched her workspace every morning. On her wall were 2 drawings. One from Sophia, one from Matteo. Both said the same thing in uneven letters. "My mom is my hero." Sophia would later become the first in her family to attend college, studying nursing. Matteo discovered a love for engineering, inspired by watching his mother rebuild her life piece by piece. The scholarship fund Daniel created quietly expanded, not just for janitors, but for security guards, maintenance workers, cafeteria staff, people who kept the world running, unseen. Daniel Harper was still a billionaire. The company still grew. The headlines still praised his business mind. But something had shifted. He left the office earlier now, volunteered anonymously, walked the halls, not to inspect, but to connect. When asked once in an interview what changed his leadership philosophy, he said, "I realized success means nothing if you never notice the people who helped you get there." He never mentioned Rosa by name. He didn't need to. She was living proof. Late one evening, Rosa stayed behind. Not to work late, but to help. A new employee sat alone in the hallway, crying quietly. Rosa sat beside her, just like someone once did for her. History didn't repeat itself. It expanded. This story isn't about a billionaire. It's not even about a janitor. It's about attention, about choosing to see people, especially when it's inconvenient, especially when no one is watching. Because kindness doesn't require power. It requires presence. And the smallest moment, a pause, a question, a conversation, can alter the trajectory of an entire family, maybe even generations. Stories like this remind us that extraordinary kindness exists all around us. If this story touched your heart, please like this video. It helps these stories reach people who need them most. Subscribe for more real-life stories that restore faith in humanity. And before you go, Speech Balloon, tell me in the comments, what act of kindness will you perform this week? Because the next life you change might be sitting quietly right in front of you. Thank you for watching. And remember, kindness always comes back.